Hey there, and welcome to today's market review with us here at EasyFX Academy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whatever time zone you are joining us from. It's a new year, new profits to be made. And without further ado, I'm just going to be going straight into the charts. And, it's going to be straightforward, I promise. Also, I'll do my best to make sure it's not too long, all right, so that you'll be able to just take away what you need as soon as possible. Right. Let's start from gold. All right. So definitely we've seen serious bullishness from gold for the last couple of months. All right, and we are still seeing, the effects of that. Currently, gold is sitting at basically, around one of its all-time highs. Around this is around 4689 or so. All right, which is still quite, you know, um quite further from the point that we were, towards the end of last year. Now let's look at what exactly I would expect or what you can do, all right, when it comes to gold trading this week, especially. Now, one of the easiest or one of the most conservative ways I believe you can work with gold during the course of this week is to watch for this point here. Now, this is a previous resistance that could become, a pivot, in this case, in this case, rather becoming a support for us, sitting around 4620.02 for the buys, all right, for the buys. However, I would advise you that if you're going to be entering the buys from there, then definitely you should also, have your confirmations beside you, your lower time frame confirmations, if you're a scalper, whatever other confirmations that you are, comfortable using, right? I believe that's something you should have at the back of your mind. I'm going to drop down to the 1 hour time frame, and then I'll quickly explain one more thing. All right. So we've seen a gain here on that previous point of resistance that now has become that right rather now should become support. All right. So I'm not necessarily giving us zones to work with here. I'm just giving us resistance, sort of so to speak, horizontal lines, either support or resistance like that. So um I believe that we can possibly watch out for other buys here. Now, this will be something I would advise you to take, especially if you are a scalper, right? On the lower time frames, once you just see price gets towards getting towards any of these points, drop down to the lower time frames, maybe the 3 minutes or the 1 minute time frame, and pick whatever you'll be needing from there, right? So this is 4637.844. Another region, all right, or another point you can watch out for possible buys from on gold. Right. So that is clear, just buys basically from those 2 points. I'll drop down to the 30 minutes one more time before I conclude on gold right now. So just follow through with me. Um, yeah, let's just leave it like that. Let's leave that those two. I was going to say something else because I was seeing that currently it looks like price is giving us a little bit of choppy movements, meaning that we could possibly see a breakout very soon, maybe even towards the upside. But definitely, I do believe that price should, to some extent, decide to sweep liquidity, that was left behind by the fair value gap, right? So you see very, very strong impulsive move that actually broke structure around this. So we might get to see that pullback, before the continuation for the buys. But let's just have those 2 points at the back of our mind right now for the buys as we progress during the course of this week. All right. So again, don't forget to watch out for your own entry confirmations on the lower time frames. I believe that would really, really help and save you a lot of stress. That's it for gold. I will go to AD card next. All right, and I'm going to start from the 4 hour time frame for this. Right, so from 4 hour time frame right now, it does look like we should still get to see a continuation for the bullish momentum on AUD card, all right, Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar. Now, if we are looking forward to that, I would expect us to get, possibly a re-entry into that trade, all right. Definitely, we're still seeing massive bullishness, massive quote unquote, right? We're still seeing bullish there, right? But I want to watch out for the possibilities of us joining in for the buys, joining for the buys very soon, right? So and this would be my preferred region here between 0.93008 and 0.92948. All right, so I would want to see buys maybe from here. All right, I want to see buys maybe from there. Depending on however we get to see the market move. Basically, I want to still see price push up a little bit from where we are right now. So again, you can see that this whole region is a serious region of sort of supply and demand here. We've seen, let me use a different tool, sorry. We've seen, some reactions here. We've seen a lot more of the reactions here. All right, we have another reaction, so we've seen that many times the price has come into that region. Basically, we've seen price, being rejected towards the downside, right? So I want to see price hopefully, all right, have enough strength to break that region right now. But first and foremost, I want to see that drop down. Maybe something similar to this would be the overall sort of move I'm expecting, like this, and then this, and then we can watch out for the push. Sorry, excuse me, for the push towards the upside. So that is clear. Again, coordinates for the buy is between 0.93008 and 0.92948. I hope that is well taken care of for AD card. Next up, we'll go to ADNZD, and again, I'll go back to the 4 hour time frame. Right, very good. So ADNZD now, this is something that what I wanted to do, something similar rather to what I wanted to do on gold, but I'll explain it right now on AD and ZD. So we can see a very strong slowdown in the momentum that we're seeing on AD and ZD. So we're seeing massive bearishness towards this area, all right. We're seeing multiple lows being swept, so taken out. All right, now we're seeing that there is a slowdown of that momentum. Now this gets to tell us that currently there is some level of uncertainty that we're seeing, right, that we're seeing right now. So I would want to see, if I'm to just look, if I'm to go based off of just visuals, what I'm seeing right now, I would assume or I would believe that possibly we are going to see this guy continue bearish very soon. But all the same, I'll give you one bearish entry here, right? It's between 1 point, let me zoom in, right? 1.16431 and 1.16295. Now, let me just quickly say this. Remember that these values that I'm calling out for the coordinates might vary depending on your broker. So it is always imperative for you to go back to your charts and then work with the values that you'll be able to get from your chart also. Now that aside, if I'm going to look out for a sell continuation, I believe this is a very, very safe zone to watch out for the sells to happen from. All right, to just happen from. Now, alternatively, let's jump to the 30 minutes time frame. Alternatively, we can see, like I said, a slowdown in the momentum from what we've seen happening prior to now. All right, so I would want to watch out for a sort of breakout from that range that I'm currently seeing. That's somewhere around here. And this would be something that if you're a scalper, you might want to work with. If you're able to, if I get to see a definitive break above maybe, let me use, I think that's still fine. I believe that's still fine. So this to this here. So if I drop to maybe the 5 minutes time frame, I won't be giving us exact coordinates, but I'll explain how exactly you can trade a breakout from here. If I'm on the 5 minutes time frame, right? If I get to see maybe price breaking the upper boundary, I've talked about this a lot on this channel, and I believe that some of us should know what it is by now, or most of us rather should know what it is by now. You can work with the upper upper boundary or the lower boundary. What that basically gets to look at for the candle with the highest wick or the lowest wick on whatever we mark out that whole region, and then work with it for maybe break and retest sort of trade. All right, so if we get to see something like this, you might be able to work with the buys from there. If we get to the opposite, we might get to work with the sells from there. Right, but this is just from a scalp perspective, not necessarily something I want you to work with as a swing trader. All right, so sorry, then just correct the way that looks. Something like this, basically. All right, but for the meantime, if I'm going to be watching out from the swing perspective for any trade, it to be the buy to the sell movement, maybe from here. All right, that's between 1.16431 again and 1.16295. All right, that is clear for AD and ZD. Next up, I'll go to CB. Do my knee. I'll go to CAD JPY, CAD JPY. Do my knee. All right, so for CAD JPY, I believe this is quite simple. Already, we've seen price coming into this region here. Or I think that's from, that's just today. Impressive. So today we've already seen this has already been a region I already marked out prior to now, or then we've gotten to see fair enough reactions from there, telling us the validity or showing us at least to some extent the extent of validity that we have for that region. Now I'm not necessarily expecting this buy to go on for so long, but all the same, since we are coming from the overall perspective of overall buyers, that KJPY looks bullish. All right, let's work with sorry, let's work with possible re-entries on the lower time frame. So I'll just drop to the, was this on the 30 minutes time frame? I believe this was on 30 minutes time frame. So basically I'm just going to give us a range for us to have at the back of our minds between 113.446 and 113.346. So again, 113.446 and 113.346 for the possible buys on KJPY. So what that means is that I'm expecting maybe something like this and this. Now, the reason why I'm having that bias at the back of my mind is because I do believe that this zone should still get to hold up a little bit more for us to maybe then even get to see this high being taken out. Oh, apologies. Let me redraw that a bit better. Yeah, so something like this is what I am sort of expecting overall. All right, so that break of that high, and then hopefully we get to see the continuation from there. So just sort of after having an extension or rather an impulse, then want to see the retracement and then continuation towards that end. So yeah, that basically is what I'm currently watching out for on CAD JPY for the buys. All right, so let's just have that at the back of our mind also. I believe that is well taken care of. Next up, we'll do Euro USD. So like I said, I'm not going to be taking too many commodities, all right, just a few, so at the very least you'll be able to monitor and then go through all of them and then just have your eyes on as few things as possible to make sure that you're able to make the most of what you have. Right, so Euro USD rather, forgive me. Euro USD, I'm expecting continuation for the sales, all right, possibly soon from here. This is between 1.16849 and 1.16689. All right, so in case you're wondering what exactly is my reasoning behind marking out that region. Let's look at it together. Sorry, give me a minute. Right, so let's look at that. Let's look at it together. Rather, we have something towards this end right now that I'm watching out for, or I'm looking at rather. Right, all right, as sort of the trend movement as it was, and I'm just going to be using my favorite tracement tool. Yeah, all right, so this previously, all right, and that basically I'm working out our key regions in that. Right, so that basically is what I'm holding on to for the meantime. Again, we have the possibility of this high being swept, all right, and then if that truly does happen, we should get to see price deliver itself into that region for us to get our sales from. All right, so something like this is my bias for Euro USD. Again, coordinate for the cells between 1.16849 and 1.16689. I hope and I'm very sure that that is also clear. I'll do GBP USD next. GU. So something similar to what I explained on Euro USD is also the bias, or it's also the sort of sorry, excuse me, train of thought I'm holding on to for GBP USD also. So I'm expecting that buy again, price to take out this high, and then we come up to here, and then get to see the sales again. Right, so again, just the exact same explanation rather. Coordinate between 1.34769 and 1.34541. All right, so I am more skeptical about GU though, all right, because price movement on GU has been looking weird to me. But all the same, I do believe that Euro USD and GBP USD should have some level of correlation that we might be able to exploit or make good use of for our own profits. All right, so I hope that's clear for Euro USD and GBP USD. All right, let's do NZD JPY next. I think that's one of the other ones I have at the back of my mind. Yes, so two coordinates right there. If you can see my chart, I have two coordinates marked out right now that I want to watch out for possible buy continuations from. But let's start from the daily time frame. Let's look at it together from the daily time frame. I almost said D4, but yeah, daily time frame, right? So daily time frame is saying us that we're still bullish, right? We're seeing the overall story that we're being told is that we're bullish. Now, with the current amount of momentum that we're getting to see, let me just give you or postulate some questions if you would allow me. We have this high. Can this momentum break this high? Can this momentum also give us a break above this high? All right, so I'm just working with what we have right now on the chart. We have something to maybe towards this end, this to this. Yeah, this is that. This to this, this to this, to this, to this, to this. All right, if you can get that. So basically, I want to watch out for the possibility of us to maybe seeing a further drop into here. All right, and then price would then sweep this low. All right, then would have this to be our buy zone one or buy POI one between 90.455 and 90.170. All right, for the first POI for the buys. Now the other one that I have marked out, I'll drop down to maybe the 1 hour time frame and I'll just explain the bias already. So if at all we're watching out for the a bullish bias, right, we should of course look out for buy entries. But there's the idea basically. There's a possibility for us to have price coming back towards this region. Now this already is in a sort of incoming. Sorry, let me just quickly mark that out. Maybe I should drop to the 30 minutes or the 45 minutes. Maybe that would help us a bit better. So already we have a sort of SBR sort of pattern already here. So this low already been taken out, this high also already been taken out. There is every possibility, and again, this also serves as a supply and demand region, or sorry, yeah, a pivot region rather. Right, this whole region basically serves as a pivot region. So we're going to be working with that range, all right, for our buys, all right, for our that'll be our buy POI2, as the case would be on this chart. So already the coordinates, did I delete the coordinates? Yes, I did. So give me a minute, let me try and restore that. What's it? Just give me a minute, please. I think I deleted it. All the same. We're just working with this whole range here. So maybe from here to here. Let me just make it as clear as possible. So again, this is a bit on the riskier side as a trade anyway, but I believe it's something that still has potential. All right, and no risk, no reward, or no risk, no Lambo. So choose one, either go out or you go home. All right, so yeah, this will be the buy POI2 in this scenario, right, for us to get in for the buys. All right, so join the buy that possibly will be able to give us that break of this high and this high here. All right, so buy POI2 coordinates between 90.995 Yes, 90.995 and 90.807. Those are the coordinates for the second by POI. Okay, I hope that is clear for NJ or NZJPY. Next up, and that will be the last for today's session, will be USD card. This will be the last one for today's session. Give me a minute, please. 4 hour time frame. All right, so let me start on the daily time for this. All right, let me start on the daily time frame for this. So already we've seen, some level of let me explain this with. So we've seen multiple points of liquidity rather are being taken out, so liquidity being swept from multiple points. All right, and I do believe that to some extent we might get to see this guy give us a buy continuation very soon, all right, because what we're having here looks to me like, it had let's start from here. Let's see something like this. Just follow with me, please. Right. Let's use this higher. I think they were both sort of equal. All right, so something like this, right? And we're seeing points where price basically just swept liquidity from. All right, and it does seem like we might have enough, momentum now for price to continue towards the upside for the bullish continuation as it was. So what I would be expecting right now might be for price to still give us a little bit more of a drop into this region here, and then we'll continue again, sort of an SBR pattern that is being formed inside there. Forgive me, let me make that as clear as possible. Yeah, something like this. All right, so it's sort of an SBR pattern that's being formed inside here again. So this is the sweep, the break, and then possibly possible price return into this region, and there we get to see the buy continuation. However, for me, I think just to be safe, I would prefer to work with 50% specifically for this. All right, so maybe somewhere around here, just to be a lot more safer. Right, so buy POI basically, or buy coordinates for us here, between 1.37691 and 1.37306, between 1.37691 and 1.37306 for the buy POI on USD card rather. So I'm expecting that buy. I'm expecting that sell rather than get the buys from there. So if you're already on this trade, you might watch out for possible sells, or I mean, maybe you'll be able to capitalize on with your own reasoning, or your own reasoning basically. But otherwise, for me, I think I want to watch out for possible buys from somewhere around here. All right, so those few words of mine, I believe I have given you some level of value for this week. Again, I'll advise you to practice proper risk management. There's nothing that can keep you long in this game that is not risk management. All right, practice your risk properly. Follow your rules to the letter. Know what you know, do what you do, and I'm very sure. I'm very sure we're going to have a very profitable week ahead of us. Have a lovely rest of your week. Bye bye, guys.